Up next
Always
is
a
the
pleasure.
Newsnation contributor Kurt Bardella listening in on all of this. We'll get back to the conversation on the cartels later in the show, but on the shutdown, we'll hear from Akeem Jeffries, bottom of the hour. How do you look at it in terms of a political position for the Democrats, day two of the shutdown? What type of spot are they in here?
They look like idiots, Connell. I've heard more from Hakeem Jeffries complaining and whining about memes that the president is posting on social media than what an actual way out of this shutdown is and what an achievable win is for Democrats. I fear that they've put themselves in a position where once again they will make all these pronouncements about what they want. They won't get it. There's no rationale or reason why Republicans will actually negotiate with them. They'll end up having to capitulate, looking weak, with their tail between their legs, and will all be for nothing. We see this play over and over and over again. And frankly, to engage in what is really a messaging war, it is a battle of optics and public relations. I have seen no evidence in the last 4 years that Democrats are equipped to win a messaging war against Republicans at all. So why they think going all in right now on a government shutdown is a great idea when the only strategy I've seen from them has been to do a live stream at 1 a.m. that nobody watched is beyond me.
You're usually siding with the Democrats ideologically, but strategically here, you're clearly against them. What would have been a better idea? How could they have handled it differently?
Well, one, don't do the shutdown. The Republicans put a clean CR on the floor, which is the same thing, by the way, that Democrats have said that's what they've wanted. How many times we go through this exercise when President Biden was in office, where they said just pass a clean CR? We don't know why you would be against that. Well, now the shoe's on the other foot. And so you're holding out for trying to solve what they say is a problem and a pending crisis, but it hasn't happened yet. And so for the American people, that's where you got to win the hearts and minds, is with the American people. If they don't know that there's a crisis right now, they're not going to go with, oh, we're going to start with the Democrats because we might have a problem with our health care in 6 months. That's not how this country works.
So you think eventually the only choice for the Democrats is going to be to give in?
I mean, there's no way that this ends well. So I say end it quickly and move on and recalibrate. Because at the end of the day, if they wait, the longer this goes, the more the expectation, the pressure will build that you better get something for going through all this political pain. Well, if you don't get anything, it'll all been for nothing. So end it now, end it quickly. You made your point, you stood up, you shut it down. Let's move on before you actually incur real damage that you can't recover from.
We'll see what Jeffrey says. Again, supposed to speak at the bottom of the hour. I have some polling on the tablet. I'm going to wrap our conversation, Kurt, with this with you, if that's okay. So the first question asked here, this was, I was reading in the Times this morning. I was interested from Times in Siena, most important problems, okay? So the economy's first, polarization and division, number two, Trump Republicans, state of the democracy and corruption. But look at this, the political divide. It's basically, are we doomed here? Can America's political system still address the nation's problems? Only 33% say yes. 64% of the country, Kurt, says we're just too divided to solve problems. That's not great.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is a reaction to from what we just happened with with Charlie Kirk being assassinated, where it's like when you get to a point where people are getting killed for espousing their political beliefs, right or wrong, agree or disagree, that's kind of past the point of fixing. There's no fixing that. And even when an event like that happens, how that event is interpreted and spoken about becomes such a hot button political issue that there's not even a uniting moment there. It used to be when tragedy when tragedy struck, everybody stopped. Everyone went to their separate corners, and we had a moment of unity and a little bit of a reset. We don't have that anymore. I mean, kids get killed in schools, and that's not enough to bring the right and the left together to figure out how we can stop that. If we're not willing to get together to stop the epidemic of our own kids getting slaughtered in their classrooms, I don't think anything is going to come together and make that happen, honestly.
I have Art Del Cueto coming on in a few minutes. We're going to talk about that story I mentioned at the top of the Super Bowl halftime show, Bad Bunny, and the fact now that there's an indication, wait a second, that there's an indication ICE agents, I mean, Corey Lewandowski was talking about it, and that ICE agents are going to be there, making their presence known at the stadium as well.
In California, no less.
In California, no less, right.
San Francisco,
where the 49ers
Gavin
play.
Newsom's backyard.
Yeah, any thoughts on that whole story?
Well, one, I can't think of anything that the NFL would want less than after what we saw how they reacted to the take a knee situation to be in the middle of a political hotbed. That seems to be the opposite of that. So this is not going the way that they thought. Bad Bunny, again, given his I'm not going to perform in the U.S. because of fear of ICE, that
Yeah.
seems to put them square in the middle. I'm not sure why they made this decision, frankly. But the political optics will be fascinating going into Gavin Newsom's backyard, bringing ICE. We know how Newsom feels about the federal government going into the state of California against his wishes. This could be a major sideshow that could really distract from the Super Bowl halftime show, which is not what the NFL wanted.
No, you wouldn't think. So again, we'll talk to Art about that. Always good to talk to you, Kurt. Talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Connell. Take care.
Kurt Bardella at 1/4 past the hour.